All right, guys, we're live here again. Welcome to PBJJF Podcast. This is the 26th. Times are flying, man. We're doing it.
We are on fighting.
That's the way. That's how we do things. We just grind it out. So, guys, thank you for being here with us again at this episode with Chris. Chris came all the way from Philadelphia to
New Jersey.
Yep, New Jersey.
Jersey.
That's right.
Yeah, Philadelphia is the place we meet each other.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But your school's in
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah, in Cream Ridge. So we're in like central New Jersey. We're close to Great Adventure, that area. It's a pretty
Awesome.
big tourist trap.
That's
We
right.
got an event in
We
New
met
Jersey very soon.
New Jersey, the first New
Yeah,
Jersey
early
event.
June, right?
Yeah.
Early June.
And we also have Philadelphia tournament the next weekend.
Yes, the 10th,
So-
right? 10th.
Yeah,
And yeah,
things are going fast. So, guys, thanks so much for being here with us again. Big supportive people out there, man. Like
Yeah.
they being really supportive. So if you're watching this and you didn't subscribe yet, come on, let's go subscribe it.
do it.
Subscribe right now, Go,
support
go,
your
go.
friends, guys.
Like,
Let's
share,
go.
subscribe. You know how
Like,
YouTube works.
You know it.
You know.
And hit the bell. Hit the bell
Hit the
so
bell
you
for
get
notifications.
notifications.
Yes.
Don't forget it. So just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. So Brave Kimonos is the best jiu-jitsu gear brand. If you want to buy Brave Kimonos, you can go to bravekimonos.com and use the PBJJF discount code.
Ooh.
And also, for all the school owners out there that are watching us, if you own a school and you want to sell, have Brave products there at your school, you can go to the website, and on the bottom of the page, you can go to create a wholesale account or apply for a wholesale account. You can have a wholesale where you can buy the products with a wholesale discount price and resell at your school, and make sure you're gonna have your students looking sharp. And
When you look sharp, what
you
happens?
look sharp. You
You
do
perform.
better, You perform
Looking good,
better.
feeling
Looking good,
right?
feeling good, man.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and you're gonna have your students wearing Brave, looking sharp, and probably bring more gold medals from PBJJF.
There you go.
Hey,
That's the way.
yay.
Hey.
And also Roll Lives, the media for Jiu-Jitsu. They support PBJJF. They come to PBJJF, get all the content that you see on social media, and also supporting us to put this podcast together. And Roll Live is going to start doing a instructional course with professors.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where you can have your instructor course and the platform, and you can share with the world.
That's the future, man. It's replacing seminars for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's the way, and you can basically be all over the world. People that are watching.
That's exactly
Maybe if you're
it.
interesting, we can link up and get you to do a instructional course with Roll Live, and you can share your knowledge with everybody in the world. So that's the way to go, guys. And even your students, if they want to review things that you teach daily, they can go
Yeah.
and review from.
No, that's huge,
the
actually.
videos.
Yeah, we've been working on a video library for our students so that they can go back and look at things that we've been working on throughout the last couple months. It's important.
That's awesome.
Definitely feels the future too, man.
For
It's
sure.
Like, yeah, it's like not giving belts online, but
No, never.
have the
never.
instructors.
Never. But have access to the information.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's changed the level of jiu-jitsu already,
agree.
you know what I mean?
No,
Like
I
back in
agree.
the day to learn something new, you'd gotta jump on a seminar or like travel to meet somebody. Now, man, you wanna learn from whatever. And Tainan, you wanna learn for Tainan Dautra. You buy his instructor, right there.
Done. Yeah, you don't have to go to Costa Mesa.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing, a lot of people are asking to us, so they're asking for our seminars.
yeah.
How Max and I we can go and teach seminars at the
Yeah.
schools.
That's huge on a number of things, right? Like even seminars for rule sets sometimes. How many coaches with the different amounts of tournaments around aren't even clear on what the rule sets
That's
are.
right.
So, I mean, I know that's a thing that other organizations are doing where they travel before they bring in an event and like 2 months before the event they have a
Educate
rules
the,
meeting, and it's like, if you're going to come, this is what you need to know. That's huge.
That's it. It is. It's something that we're also working on. But guys, we're looking for opening up our schedule for some seminars. We don't have the dates yet. We're very busy. If you're interested in doing a seminar with Max and JP, you can go and send an email to professionaljujitsu@gmail.com and maybe look for a date that we're gonna be available and come and teach your school.
That's awesome.
So, and Max just won Atlanta Open. How many golds?
4 goals, 4 goals.
Quadruple gold.
I'm old, but not done, guys.
No, you're always in it. Always in it.
And
It's too sharp.
and again, if you guys are not competing at PBJJF, you're missing out. If you want to be at the highest level, you gotta compete at PBJJF. You know, PBJJF is growing fast and bringing the best
Absolutely.
athletes. If you win PBJJF, and then you're changing your level.
Man.
And also you got the spotlight. Sorry, cut you, man.
No,
But like
no.
you had the spotlight, man. We doing videos. We pushing harder on social media than we get the podcast soon. We start to bring like some like competitors, you know, who like get higher on the ranked because
Yeah.
we're doing the ranked. We'll bring them on the podcast too to have like that spotlight over here to talk about his life, to talk about his career or whatever. I think that's
awesome.
the way to do. You know what I mean?
I agree.
In building the East Coast Jiu-Jitsu. So if you're not competing at PBJJF, you're missing out. And we have plenty of events, you know, for you to do back to back. You want to go like competing every weekend, every
can.
month at least. You can
can,
compete. You
yeah.
know, upcoming month you're gonna be able to compete every weekend,
That's
pretty
awesome.
much.
And it's regional, right? Like you don't have to fly to the other side of the
don't
country
have
to
to
do it,
fly.
right? You could stay.
Backyard, backyard,
Yep.
man.
Yes, sir.
And our goal is to grow around the world and bring everybody to the East Coast.
It's awesome. We
It's
need
not
it.
the other way around.
No, we need it. Yeah,
We're
need
gonna
it.
go there. We're gonna go to California, Texas, but we're gonna bring people from Texas and California to compete Pan Ams and Worlds here
That's the move.
at our backyard.
That's awesome.
People from Europe, they're gonna come to
here.
the East Coast. We want to give that spotlight for the East Coast. Like we're alone here. Who's doing it?
Nobody.
Who wants to do it?
Nobody.
Man.
Right?
If you wanna be the best in the world, you gotta come to the East Coast and compete at PBJJF tournament.
It's a different kind of jujitsu too, right? East Coast jujitsu in particular tends to be more wrestling focused in the beginning. Like we pull guard, but nowhere near as much as some of the guys out west do. A lot of the 5 years ago, a lot of the leg lock kind of second wave and revolution came from the East Coast again, right? So it's just a different style of jujitsu. And I think it's cool to bring people here to experience it because not everybody's able to get a flight to Paris for Euros or move to California or even Texas sometimes. So
Fight
think
in your
it's awesome.
backyard. We always have the dream, man. Our students, your students, everybody around drive
Yep.
to go and compete the events.
Yeah.
Not have to fly and go a week earlier.
Well, that's
Just
I was gonna
wake
say
up
that's
and
like
fly and
that's a whole
fly.
different thing to prepare people for too. Just in terms of like dealing with kids in particular, it's a huge deal to them because they're aware that they flew 3,000 miles to California and some other kid woke up and it's 5 minutes from his house and it's like,
Right
hey,
there.
do you want to do this tournament? Yeah, I guess, right?
I'm here.
Whatever.
Yeah, but our kids have been preparing for months because they understand like what is being sacrificed for them to go. So to have something close to them and kind of take the nerves away a little bit, that's huge.
And our big thing is doing the worlds at the most powerful place in the world, Washington D.C.
Get them.
Most powerful place in the whole planet.
Yeah.
You know, most powerful place in the world, Worlds tournament. We want to do
Should be
PBJJF
here.
Yeah.
Worlds at the most powerful place in the world.
That's not far
which
from
is
here either,
Washington,
right?
D.C.
So it's like it's right in your
Right
backyard.
here,
Probably
man.
That's
2
awesome.
3 hours from you,
Yeah.
right? People from
Philly,
and
Virginia,
people
like,
from the
it's
world will
easy.
come to here,
I agree.
man. Like
And it's
one of the
easy
most
to fly to
powerful,
hit too, man.
Super easy.
So
Area.
easy.
Super easy.
Got a BWI, EAD, like a lot of big
And then you hang out,
Airport.
right? Like it's
airports.
There's
Yeah.
a ton of history in DC, so you bring your kids, they compete, you spend the rest of the weekend there, you get a little vacation out of it, and you're good to go.
and
Learn some
everybody should
history.
come. Everybody should see what
Yeah.
that is. You know, like
Yeah.
Washington D.C.
I agree. I agree.
So I think that's the way to go. You know, that's how we want to do it. Bring to the east, and we can only do this with the support of all the professors, all the schools.
Yeah,
and the
you need
athletes.
competitors, but I think you'll have that, right? So many people have been vying. What did we have? We had like a New York Open and then Nogi Pans. And
Not
now-
anymore.
And now
Not anymore.
neither of them are there,
Yeah.
right? Don't get
But
me
now
wrong.
we have PBJJF fans
Exactly.
and worlds.
Exactly. Local events, well run, super well organized, right? That's what I was gonna say before. It's not even just the level of competition that goes, just like having a tournament that is run efficiently it is stressful to spend 12 hours in a room that is
Oh my God.
disorganized to begin with, right? So having people that know how to run, are pushing their marketing and their branding correctly, it's huge. It is professional, right? And that shows everybody that there's a different path out there for them, rather than just kind of grinding it out and saving for half a year to take one trip. You know what I mean? It's big.
Yeah. I
That's
think
the way to go.
you think he's the first guest from New Jersey we have.
Yes.
Yeah, no?
First.
Probably the best guest.
Hey, yeah.
That's right. Hey, can't be
I
wrong.
like that. That's why jiu-jitsu give us confidence, like, yeah,
Yes,
I'm the
sir.
best.
Uh,
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
whatever,
And
I'm
you
the
guys,
best.
you
That's
guys came
it.
to PBJJF, and your team did pretty well. You know, like
We did exceptionally well. We had one adult who was a white belt compete. It was his second or third competition ever, and he did amazing. He got gold in his I think he might have gotten double gold or gold and silver. And then we brought 4 kids, and we still cracked like top overall teams because they just cleaned up out there.
Nice.
My kids program is really good. We go really hard with them. That was like a core value when we founded the academy, was making possibilities and opportunities for the next generation. Because jiu-jitsu just keeps evolving, right? And there are a lot of people out there that they think their legacy is going to rest on what their accomplishments were, and that's really cool. But at the end of the day, like, if I die tomorrow, medals don't mean anything. The thing that people will remember is the way that I made them feel, and the confidence that we gave them, or the opportunities that we presented to them. So I think doing the groundwork with people, right? Because jiu-jitsu, never mind it is the most close quarters martial art, right? That's why so many people build like that quick relationship and bond, because like you're laying on top of another person how many days a week, right? Like you're gonna become friends, or one of you is gonna quit like immediately. There's no wiggle room with that. So you build that quick bond with people, and then I think the more that you develop them, especially kids, as people, right, becoming productive adults, productive members of society, and overall just good people, that's the part that's going to last when you're gone.
That's
I remember things that instructors I have had that have passed away. I remember things they said more than things they've done, right? And I think that's more important. So.
That's
I
important.
feel
That
the same
lessons,
as well when you talk about that. Like, that's how I like to teach people.
Yeah.
Not for my personal achievements, but how I made them feel.
Yeah, I agree. And
Because that's stay with us. Personal is our.
Exactly. I remember stuff. I've trained various martial arts since I was like 12 years old, so I've been on a mat for like 26 or 27 years at this point. And I remember things that were said to me when I was 12 and 13 more than I remember the fact that, like, oh, he won a kickboxing belt back in the day, right? Like,
That's right.
the way they made you feel, the things they did for you to help you become the person that you are. That's more important to me.
So how did you start training? So
So the short version is that when I was 6 years old, my dad let me watch Enter the Dragon, and I just wanted to be Bruce Lee, and like that was it. And now I'm 38, and nothing has changed. I still want to be him. No, I started like Taekwondo when I was probably eight, and I was too young. I wasn't ready for it. I was undisciplined, and I just wanted to run around and like make karate chop sounds. When I was 12, my mom had gone to like a fundraiser at my elementary school, or my brother's elementary school, because I was in middle school at that point. And she won like one of the raffle baskets, and it had a free year, which the instructor at the time, like, he would give away a month or two, but like a year was crazy. So I don't know who he knew that ran that event that got that out of him, but my mom won that. So I got a free year of karate. I did that from 12 to 18. I got a black belt in that. I got a second degree in that by the time I was like 20. And then I was teaching karate. I started doing Muay Thai at the same time, because it was like, well, I already kind of know how to strike. Let me see what the next thing is. And then I met a guy that was a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he wanted to learn how to strike, but neither of us had money. So it was like, well, we'll just trade, right? Like, I'll teach you how to kickbox, and you teach me jiu-jitsu. And within like the first year, I was like, yeah, this is all I ever want to do. And that was it. So I stopped striking, and I only focused on jiu-jitsu at that point. And that's all I've done since.
How old you were on the time?
Probably about 21 years old. So I was
Very young too,
old
yeah.
to start comparatively, right? Comparatively, because I've got 4-year-olds that do jiu-jitsu now. But it was good. I mean, if I had a choice, I probably would have done jiu-jitsu over karate, but it wasn't available back then, right? There was like two
It's
guys.
not popular too in that
No,
time too.
not at all. I
Man.
was gonna say
Probably
there-
like on your area, maybe one person teaching jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Maybe nobody.
I think it was Henzo in like Middletown, New Jersey, and that was like an hour and a half away from
Yeah.
me. So my mom's not gonna drive there. You know what I mean? But I found it eventually, and here we are.
Where you start training?
So I started in the school actually that I was teaching karate at, because the gentleman that owned it, so I was at a school doing karate in Howland, the town that I grew up in, and like everything, one of the instructors wanted to open his own school, so he moved like an hour south with the instructor's blessing, and he opened an affiliate, and he was a huge UFC fan, and this is when the UFC was still in like single and early double digits, and he was like, we need to bring that in. So he brought in a judo guy, and he brought in a jiu-jitsu guy, and that's where I started. And then over time it was just kind of trading with people, because at that point, again, guys needed someone to do striking for like MMA or just help, and there was no money in it back then. I mean,
And you have the knowledge that you just.
so the arrangement was we just traded skills, right? You teach me jiu-jitsu, I'll teach you that. So it was literally, I think my first 2 years were just training with random purple and brown belts that knew anything, because it was hard to find an academy in the area. And then over time we brought people in, and then life happens and you kind of move around. So you find a school, you find an instructor, and then that's it. But it was always contextual, because I was always teaching striking up until 2013. That's when I stopped that entirely, and I opened the academy only to do jiu-jitsu, and that was kind of like the plan from that point forward.
How did jiu-jitsu change your life?
Oh, it makes everything make sense. I think for children, it's going to teach you to win with humility. It's going to teach you that it is okay to lose, and you're not going to gain anything that you don't earn, right? Jiu-jitsu doesn't give you anything for free. Every now and then, sure, the guy like slips on the metaphorical banana peel and you get a free sweep. But generally, like if you're dissatisfied with your results, the question is, what are you going to do differently, right? If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. So if you're unhappy, then you need to learn some accountability and really look at yourself objectively and make some decisions about what you want to change. As an adult, it is one of the best ways for adults to manage stress. I'm not worried about, my cell phone bill or my electric bill, because yeah, they're important, but like I just spent 90 minutes with a guy trying to squeeze my neck. So the perspective for what's like really dangerous or problematic and what is just inconvenient, like that perspective, I think you hear that a lot. People start looking at their everyday life kind of through jiu-jitsu eyes, and it makes them understand that like it's not such a big deal, right? And that might be something directly from the Brazilian culture, where everything is very laid back and not quite so serious all the time, right? And, my professor is from Bahia, so he used to say all the time, like, yeah, class is at like 8:15, but it's more like 8:30 if the waves are good, right? And like that's kind of the way that it went. And I was like,
Bahia, they have a kind of we make a joke with people
like
from Bahia.
little bit
that they're lazy.
Yeah. It's slowly like nah, that's
There's
fine.
a joke. There's a
That's
joke
a joke,
always,
guys.
no,
It's
I
a
get
joke.
it.
We got a lot of hard work from
But,
No, a
but
lot of,
I think that
tough
seeps into the
people.
culture of
Yeah.
it, though. You know what I mean? Like that idea of not taking everything so seriously, right? Because up on the East Coast, conversely, I was born in Brooklyn, and that New York, like the hustle and the grind and the speed, and then you meet the guys from Brazil, and it's like everything slows down, and I think that seeps into it too. So the idea that like you can work hard but not take yourself or it too seriously to the point that like you're stressing yourself out, that's huge. That's huge.
That's true. We feel that. We're kind of the opposite direction.
We feel this in Brazil too, from the people who live close to the beach. The guys who live like in São Paulo, they like speed it up on time, blah, blah, blah. We from Rio de Janeiro or Bahia, like
Slow it down.
let me stop by at the beach first to get like coconut water, then I go to the work. That's magic, man, because make your life a little bit easier too.
Agreed. Right? Just some perspective to kind of take it a little bit easy sometimes. I think that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So, and how do you see the growth of jiu-jitsu in the New Jersey area?
Oh, it's massive. For better or worse, I feel like it's almost becoming more like Taekwondo was, karate was in the 90s, where like now there's 4 or 5 schools in one town, right? And that's cool. I never view other academies as competition as far as business goes. I am 100% aware that I am not the right coach for everyone. and not everybody is the right fit for our academy. And that's really important to me, keeping the culture healthy in the school and making sure that everybody is on the same page. I mean, literally, that's why I named it the Hive, is a group of like-minded individuals working towards a common goal. So anything that will disrupt that, I'm not really interested in, but that doesn't mean that that person shouldn't have the opportunity to train. It just means that we're not the right fit for them. Having more schools in town means that they can find a place, right? They can find a place that fits in. And that's really important, you know? You asked me about like kind of how I started, and I had actually bounced through a couple of instructors due to, one, either them being inconsistent or my work schedule. Also teaching a martial art, it mirrored a very similar schedule to theirs, right? So I couldn't always make a class because I was running a class at a different location at the exact same time. It wasn't until I started working at a gym up in Patterson, which was like 2 hours away from my house, that I met my professor Marcio Bittencourt, and I was a purple belt at that point.
Hey, Bittencourt,
Yes, sir.
from Bahia,
Yes, sir.
is the first professor from Gutenberg.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yeah?
He's my
Gutenberg,
big
yes, sir.
friend. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I meet
Gutenberg
Bittencourt
Pereira, yeah.
couple times, but Gutenberg is my brother.
Absolutely.
That's
I was
crazy.
just talking about him yesterday. I did like a whole case study on his single leg X guard and double pant sweeps. Beautiful jiu-jitsu. But yeah, Marcio's known him
Nice.
ever since. So
You should. Hey, I will bring you here for a seminar soon. I contact you.
We're in.
Bring you here that too.
Absolutely.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah. So I've been with Marcio since purple belt. He gave me my black belt, and he's promoted me up to my second degree. But it was that first class with him that I knew, like, okay, you're the right fit for me. The way you teach, the way I learn, like that makes sense. And that's why, like, I don't take other schools as competition in terms of business, because you got to find the person that you click with.
right.
And that's important. So
I feel like more schools, more people know about jiu-jitsu. Who deliver a better service? Go get the
100%,
students. You know
100%.
what I mean?
Clean academy, good service, and that'll do it.
Good,
right?
good environment. Vibe is like cool.
And I think the feet too, like you said, like we're talking to some people. I'm more traditional. Some people are more laid back. Some people more whatever. Some people like
100%.
more like do their own way. You know, like less
Some
traditional.
school will focus
yeah.
more on no-gi
And
than
that's okay.
others, and they
Yeah.
give,
that's,
like
which is
Well, yeah, I teach zero self-defense. None. We are a sport jiu-jitsu academy because it's not 1920 anymore, right? Like, the self-defense is important, but like if you're a grown man and you're getting mugged, it's probably not a front headlock anymore, right? And I'm not bulletproof, so I'm not going to invest my time in that.
And for you, definitely, when you train at sports, jiu-jitsu too, if you need to defend yourself, you'll
100%.
be able to do.
I'm not going to
You
pull
know?
guard in the parking lot in Berimbolo, but like I'm used to training and competing against equally as educated other practitioners, right? I don't think the random purse snatcher is expecting a 10-minute long match, and I'm prepared to fight for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Maybe multiple 10 minutes.
absolutely. If you do brackets instead of super fights, you're prepared for quite a bit. So it does translate. It does. And I think that that's huge. That's huge. You know, I'm not saying anything negative about the self-defense. It's just not the way that I chose to run my academy. And likewise, like we are very informal. I don't make my adults call me professor. I lord over no one. They can call me by my first name. I call Marcio by his first name, but when I speak about him, it's Professor Bittencourt, right? Because he's earned that. So the kids have to call me professor. They're there to learn discipline, to learn structure. Adults, like, we all do different things, you know what I mean? And everybody's at a different stage in their life, whether they're 48 or 22. But I lord over no one. So I think the more we try to separate ourselves, the weaker we actually are. So, I mean, our academy, we take the work very seriously. We train really hard, really focused, but like we are cracking jokes left and right at each other. And they can make jokes at me too, because I'm usually the first one to make fun of myself. You know what I mean? So I think if you can't laugh about it, the environment becomes very stressful. And that's when people start getting hurt or they start getting caught in their feelings about the way around went. And if you can laugh it off,
agree.
then you're good. You know what I mean? I think that's important.
But like, if somebody wanna call you a professor, you get mad with that, or just fine to whatever?
No,
like,
it's okay. And I'll say it's not necessary, but thank you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
And that's it. It's all good.
I feel professor is the best way to call. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
because some guys come like, oh, master,
Nah,
coach. Coach, I don't like coach. Coach, I don't like.
I feel like I do far more than a regular coach. When I look at other sports, I feel like my coaches were good, but they taught me like the game and jiu-jitsu in particular. I chose the word academy for the end of martial arts academy because we're not a jiu-jitsu gym. I try to teach actual life skills, and academies are places of higher learning, right? So I try to give them not only like the knowledge for jujitsu, which includes both technique, but like the anatomy and physiology. Why does it work? What are you actually trying to do to this person with this technique? And then life skills that carry outside of jujitsu. So even if someone comes to me for 2 years and they're 11 years old and then they quit by the time they're 13 or 14, I hope that at least the life lessons they've learned about what they're capable of with a good work ethic and a healthy attitude, I hope that carries them through their life, even if they never do another armbar ever again, right? And that's more important to me. That's what we were talking about before, rather than medals. So
That's pretty interesting when we touch that subject. You know, how can we teach the jiu-jitsu skills and the values so they can care of the mats.
absolutely. When we do like the big belt promotion ceremonies, I usually tell, especially all of the new parents, I believe that jujitsu is a vehicle to maximize human potential. So we're just using it as a way to make you the best version of yourself possible. It's not about the arm bars. It's not about the double legs and the judo throws. It's about becoming the best version of yourself through adversity. And that's all it is. So
Yeah, well, and how do you see the women's jiu-jitsu? How do you see how we can bring more women? How do you see that growing?
So I have a very divisive take on women's jiu-jitsu. I support it super hard. I've had a large women's body in my program forever, from white belts up to brown belts. I brought Maisa Bastos into my academy for a seminar long before people were like, oh, she's like the best. And I made it a point to say that I don't believe that Maisa is top 5 women's jiu-jitsu. I think she's top 5 jiu-jitsu, period, in the world. Like, if you go pound for pound, regardless of gender, I think Maisa can beat half of them. Maybe not Tynan, but she can beat like half of them easily. Her jiu-jitsu is gorgeous to watch.
She's super technical.
Yeah. There's and no mistakes.
I know her since she I'm not gonna say that size because she's still that size, but like
but since she's a little kid,
but like a little kid, you know.
Yeah, but her jiu-jitsu,
yellow belt,
it's beautiful to watch. There's no mistakes, and you can see her solving problems in real time. Like, you see the wheels spinning. So I was thrilled to bring her in, and it was right after she had done the Who's Number One event and won. So everybody was really excited about that.
Nice.
But I am against women's only programs for jiu-jitsu, and the reason that I am is because I believe the more that you exclude people, that is not the way to inclusion, right? I understand that it brings some women into an environment that they feel comfortable in the beginning, and I think that's good, because there are some academies that do like a 6-week program for white belts before they put them in with like the rest of the class, and that's fine. Let these women feel comfortable, let them work with each other and develop bonds and confidence in their own ability. But realistically, a woman Maisa's size is not going to be the person that attacks you on the street if self-defense is the reason that you're there. It's going to be a larger individual, likely a male. If you're not training with them, are you really going to remember everything you need? Are you really learning the technique that you need, if that is the purpose that you're there for? I'm 100% on board for women's jiu-jitsu, but I think the more that you segregate and separate them, exclusion is not the path to inclusion, right?
I do separate program, you know, but
a lot of people do
2 times a week, if that's the way to include the coming
into the bigger class.
Yeah, they like coming in, starts doing these 2 classes a week, and like when they more comfortable, okay, now I can do like 3, and they start doing on a like a group class, normal 4, and then
as long as there's a funnel
Easy
to
way
get
to-
them
yeah.
into like the larger class structure. But I think the people that just stay out, right, that would be like me. I'm a natural rooster weight. I walk around under 130 pounds. That would be like me saying, like, I'm gonna hold an open mat, but only for guys that are like 135 and under. And people, that would be 5 people, and they would be like, why can't I come and train, right? Everyone else would be annoyed by it. I think women's jiu-jitsu is great. We need more women in jiu-jitsu, but I think there are better ways to support it than separating them from everyone else, because the more that we separate, then we have the gap in the pay scale. They're not getting paid equally for their work because, oh, it's women's jiu-jitsu. That's not true at all. That's, you know, like they deserve equal pay the same way that the men do for the work that they're doing.
For sure.
To scale, their opponents are not any worse than their male counterparts, right? Like they have to fight just as hard. They have to fight just as technically. So why are their efforts worth less? And I think the more that we continue to look at them as 2 separate industries rather than like the same thing. Look at what happened with like women's US soccer. They had more World Cups and national championships than the men's team by an incredible amount, but they were getting paid peanuts comparatively, and they're producing the better results. So why are they getting paid less?
Does I have a question about this. I ask people, would they sell enough to get paid that much? As in does women support the athletes?
So I think that's the larger issue, is that people are not valuing their work the same. Like I said, I brought Maisa in, and I was more excited than when I brought Mikey into my academy. You know what I mean? Because Mikey's my friend, whatever. But having him there was great. Having Maisa was someone that I actually admire her work. So I think if you value the work of the person, and that's a different story. Why are they drawing people, or why are they not drawing people? And it's not because the women are doing worse jiu-jitsu by any means. By any means. Theon is incredible, right?
Many, Bia Mesquita,
Bia
Bia
Mesquita.
Basilio.
Bia Mesquita is one of the only athletes to win 10 world
Machielli,
titles, right?
so
In one
many.
division.
So like they go to like for
100%. I think undoubtedly too, right?
it's not like, so not like that, but she is the go-to. Okay, that's like
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think it isn't the women, it isn't their jujitsu, it's the audience. It is a problem with the optics of the audience, and as soon as they start seeing it as equally as valuable, then the draw will be correct.
But like the women need to support more the women.
Yeah.
100%.
You know what I
100%.
mean?
If you go back to I was talking to my wife about this. So why women makes more into modeling? Gisele Bündchen. She makes hundreds of times more than the best male
Yeah.
Modeling.
model.
Yeah.
Because there's more money coming to that segment. I feel that. I don't think men and women should do the same job and get paid differently. You do the same, if we bring the same,
Yeah.
You
you
should
get the same.
agree, I agree.
But with sports, I think because like we look about, if we sponsor someone, this person, not a women or man, the women brings more revenue on sales as a sponsor athlete, and this guy is not bringing. Man, you gotta get
You got to
paid
take
more.
the woman. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that's kind of how.
Well, that's ROI, right? The return on investment. And that's something that like even young blue belts now, I need a sponsor, I need a sponsor. What are you doing to warrant that? Where's the return on investment, right? Like you just want free stuff. You just want free stuff. You don't need it, you know what I mean? But you want to be cool on the internet, and that's it. And
What are you gonna bring back to
well,
the
that's
company?
exactly it. So don't just DM. I've talked about this before. Don't just DM random brands and copy and paste the same message. Tell them who you are. Tell them what you've accomplished. What can you do for them? And then be really direct. What do you need from them? So I exist in a weird space in jiu-jitsu where I own an academy. I've been a head instructor and an academy owner. I've been a competitor, but I also do graphic design and things like that. And I've worked as a designer and a brand builder for other companies within the jiu-jitsu space. And I've handled that kind of stuff for them. I'm like, listen, you're great, but what you're asking versus what we're going to gain by giving you, that math doesn't add up, right? It doesn't match. So here's what we can do for you, and this is what we need from you in return, right? And then it depends on the sponsorship, right? Because think about it this way: there's like kind of three kinds. You can get a discount code, which usually gives you wholesale pricing for a product. You can get a discount code for other people to use, and maybe they give you 5% of that. They give you a kickback. You can just simply get free gear, or you can have a contract which often stipulates how often you have to compete, the results you need to get, and then maybe there's either money or they pay for your travel and competition registration. But that last one, that's elusive still in jiu-jitsu. That's for the elite guys. That's not for the hobbyist blue belt that trains 3 hours a week. And it doesn't mean that blue belt isn't capable of getting a sponsorship. You just have to go about it the right way, right? You have to understand that they are running a business and they are a brand, and you are an ambassador or almost an employee of them at that point.
You need to sell.
Yeah, you need to help them. So I have a gi sponsorship. Sorry, Brave. I have a gi sponsorship with a company called Aesthetic. I've been with them since I got my black belt. They're based in the UK. I helped break them into the US market, right? In my own little way, right? As much as I could. And that was sort of the relationship, was that like I was going to help them reach new territory for the brand. My academy would wear their stuff. I would compete in their stuff. To the point that I went so hard for them that people thought I owned the company because they were small in the US and people
You
didn't know.
put the
You put the clothes like that's
yep.
my.
That's what I did, and people thought that I owned it. And I was like, nope, they're just really good friends of mine. You know what I mean? And to this day, I still support them. They support me, and it's a really great functional relationship. And I think from a business perspective, that's the thing that competitors miss. They want sponsorships, but they don't want to build professional relationships, and they don't understand how important that is in terms of longevity for staying with a brand over time. Right? Because they see these dudes that just hop from brand to brand to brand, and they're just trying to make a quick buck, but that's not going to help you in the long run, right? That's inconsistent. So
And like you saw like I followed the Brazilian national last weekend, and we see like some guys win, don't even did a post, man.
nope.
That's like, or like take long time to do a post or repost something they tagging. You know what I mean? Okay, you focus on fight or whatever, but like.
Yeah, but how
You
long
should-
does
you
it how
should
long
sell
does it
your
take
life.
to take a picture and
Yeah,
tag?
you should sell your company.
Yep.
You are your company. If you're not able to sell your company, it's gonna be hard. You gotta push that, post, talk to people, take a picture with your fans.
So to support me, man.
It's like
wear
pulling
this
teeth
brand.
sometime. I have worked with I'm not going to name any names, but I've worked with like elite top 10 athletes before that when we're like, hey man, like, our agreement was that you were going to make X amount of posts a month. And,
They don't do it.
and you haven't done it, right? And they're like, well, I'm in the middle of camp right now, and like mentally I'm like, yeah, but if you can't handle your side of the bargain, then you need to understand that we're not going to uphold ours anymore, right? Like you're not prepared for it, and maybe this isn't for you if you can't do all that, right? Because you don't hear other professional athletes in other sports throwing temper tantrums because they have to go to, like, take a baseball player, they have to go to spring training. They're still going to shout out the people that they need to, right? They're not going to be like, oh, well, I've been really focused on learning how to hit curveballs. Yeah, that's cool, that's your job. But our agreement is that you need to do this for us now, right? Because we have done X, Y, and Z for you. And if you're entitled and feel like you don't need to do that, then you're going to find everyone starts dropping you very quickly.
Man, but you talk about, like, who doing good. Tainan this weekend.
Unbelievable. On his way to a Grand Slam.
He did awesome, beat the guys, win, but between the fights,
Interviews, right?
interviews, post,
Yep.
he showed like, buy my course, blah blah blah. But he did it, man. Between the tournament,
Between them. Now,
and when you see them, like,
I'm sure he has help with
like,
that. I'm sure he has help. I know AOJ, their creative director Mason, he does a lot of stuff to help them with that. But
show the professional.
I was gonna say, right there, that's the thought. If this is beyond my capability, then I need to bring in someone to manage it for me so that I can hold up my end of the
But
bargain.
also, when you think about that, man, maybe we're not that level yet to have somebody to do for you.
For sure.
Get a friend.
Get a
man.
friend.
Do some videos, whatever. Like,
Absolutely.
if somebody posts something, repost it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's not hard.
simple. Always gonna have a friend between you to do that.
I agree.
Then, man, that would be easier to, like, you pushing to another level.
No, I agree. So in terms of the growth of jiu-jitsu, I think now there's even more opportunity to be involved on multiple levels, right? Like you said, the instructionals are huge, but people are still attending seminars and people are still booking them. So you can earn some money traveling and booking seminars. You can earn some money now. There are more paid jiu-jitsu events for competitors than ever before, right? Back in the day, the only paid events were the kind where it was like $100 for you to register, and there are 16 guys, and then the winner gets the whole pot, right? They were buy-ins. And now there are tournaments that are giving away cash prizes simply through sponsorship money, so it doesn't cost you anything to compete anymore.
Sometimes, like, invitation. They pay your travel.
100%, yep.
Pay your travel, pay your hotel. Then, I mean, you do a fight and you get paid at the end.
I think that's bare minimum, even if the event is starting out and they can't pay me for the work, at least pay for the travel and the accommodations to stay, because that's not free for the athlete either, right? So I think there are more opportunities for people to be involved on different levels, because I think when I was coming up, and for sure for you guys, like, the idea was compete, win titles, so that you could open an academy and earn a living doing jiu-jitsu. Now you can earn a living as a competitor. You can earn a living as an instructor, both in person, seminars and academy, or through virtual means like instructionals. And then the lifestyle side of jiu-jitsu is like the biggest it's ever been, right? There's more brands than ever before everywhere. So there's more opportunity than there's ever been. It's just what are you going to do to take advantage of it?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think this is just the beginning.
Just
Agreed.
looks like
The
No,
beginning of the worldwide spreading of jiu-jitsu, and we're on that mission to spread jiu-jitsu around the world. I think that's gonna happen, and this is just the beginning. You see, like Mark Zuckerberg trained jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he just competed, right? He just competed.
You know,
Shout out for
Zuckerberg. We want to see you all. Hey, we want to see you at our podcast. We want you here. But like this is to show how much potential jiu-jitsu has. Where like the CEO of the largest media in the world is doing jiu-jitsu and going out there and competing, like feeling the lifestyle, living the lifestyle.
That is like the ultimate. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. Like once you put on a gi or in his case for that one, like a rash guard and shorts, everyone is.
He fight the gi too. He fight both.
Oh, he did
the
both?
gi and no gi.
Yeah.
Oh, I only saw a video of no gi. Yeah.
he
But
fight both.
everyone's the same once you put it on, right? It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. You got a neck and it can get squeezed just like everyone else.
And see people on that level doing jiu-jitsu just
pushes it even
the
further.
word. Like,
Influence
look
other
at how
people
many
to
people
come.
he can touch.
So that brings up like a really interesting thing because the jiu-jitsu community, for whatever reason, is very defensive about itself, and like we give actors and celebrities like no slack, right? The Tom Hardy thing where he was competing and like ripping straight footlocks on people, everyone's like, yeah, that's how you do it, right? Not these purple belts that don't roll. You gotta understand though, if you're an actor, sometimes there are contracts that even say you're not allowed to do things like jiu-jitsu. So if you're in an academy and you're an actor and you're not allowed to train, but like the way around it is that you don't roll, how many people on a film set are dependent for work on you being healthy to finish that film, right? Like,
And at least even your face to be like, like
100%.
okay, you work with your body.
The gi is an exfoliant, right? One good crossface and half your forehead comes off.
Yeah.
So I think we need to cut those guys a little bit of slack too, because they could not do jiu-jitsu, but they're doing their best to find
They're
a
doing
way
their
to
best.
keep it, and
They
they,
get, but and then they get into the lifestyle too,
100%,
the
right?
culture or whatever.
The benefits are more than just the technique,
Exactly.
and that's it. I think it's huge. I think
And
everybody should do it.
they are influence other people to come to know what jiu-jitsu is about. I think the people that they can touch that never heard of jiu-jitsu, it's massive.
No,
you
it's-
have
it's
millions
huge.
of people that, man, what is that jiu-jitsu thing? And they start researching and they get to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan started
Yeah, he's
speaking,
very big about it,
talking
yeah.
great about jiu-jitsu and bring people to jiu-jitsu. And that's how we grow. And I think that's how we can use jiu-jitsu to change the world. I have a thing in my mind. We're not gonna change now. We're gonna get to people that can change big
Absolutely.
time, right?
Absolutely.
Presidents of, like big spots in the world where those guys are gonna be like, man, like in the police. Jiu-jitsu should be every police should. Who can makes that call? We're gonna get to that. We're not gonna get to them. We're gonna get around them.
Around it,
Their
yeah.
kids, their wives, whoever, their friends.
There are loads of opportunities, right? I did a thing for a while. So in my area, there's a thing called Adopt a Cop, where they'll like pay your tuition up until blue belt. I did free tuition up until a blue belt for police officers for a while. I think it's incredibly important for them to be able to train. Unfortunately, it always seems to be like regionally. It's decided kind of on a state by state or town by town basis, and that makes it more difficult because there's no like unifying body coming down. But I have a ton of police officers from state troopers to detectives to local PD in my town that train with us, and it's super important. It's a big part of our culture in the academy too. Because they
Big
need
support.
it. They need it.
Big
These are the people
support
that
for
keep
them.
us safe, And I know a couple of years ago things were really tense with people and the police, and I think everybody was just stuck in their houses too long, and we just needed to get outside. But I think it's important, these guys they're doing a job the same as everybody else, and their job is dangerous all the time. So to not equip yourself to protect yourself is risky. It's risky.
You have a target in your back when you're wearing that uniform.
Absolutely.
That's kind of how I feel when we talk to.
Yeah.
Police
So
officers,
I'm
like-
happy to support LEO. That's a big one, and veterans, right?
Same
Like,
way.
we've worked with We Defy and stuff like that before, and I think anything you can do to spread the benefits of jiu-jitsu to a community that you think is in need of it, that's a good service. You know, that's a good thing to do.
Military. Shout out to all the branches. You
Absolutely.
know, I have all branches.
We have a ton.
Trained at my.
I'm
at my
probably
school.
5 miles away from a joint base. So we have a ton of active duty military in the school, and
I
it's
have
awesome.
couple, but not that much.
I have a lot.
It's almost impossible because we're so close, you know, and we don't always get them for a long
JP
time.
has a lot.
Yeah.
His school's like
We don't always get a
I'm by
ton.
Fort Meade.
Oh, okay.
So-
Oh, yeah. I'm by
Close to Fort
Fort
Meade.
Dix and stuff like that. So we're right there. But it's cool because then I get to meet people from other places. You know, like I have a guy who's only going to be here for probably a year and a half, and he's from, I want to say maybe Washington State. But we get him for a little bit of time. You get to meet somebody, share a good chunk of your life with them, and then the military is going to move him, and hopefully, like we said earlier, like the way we treated him and the way we made him feel, he'll remember and carry that with him to wherever he goes next.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It
So,
is. I hope one day I can send a letter to some. Hey, they keep here. Don't move them. Like keep.
Yeah, keep him here. Keep him here.
Sometimes if I'm gonna send a letter to the military, you're gonna stay here
You're
for
gonna
4 more
stay.
years.
Yeah.
You figure it out. You let me know. You let me know.
But yeah, I think it's tons of benefits.
That's kind of like every 4 years. I think
Every 4 years
they
for
move in it,
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends. I
Usually.
think it depends on what they're doing too,
Yeah.
and what branch. But yeah,
But thank you guys for your service. We really appreciate
True.
it.
absolutely.
Thank you.
And so let me see here. We have Ron is always here. Ron, shout out to Ron, Ricardo,
Ron.
Georgia,
And thank you guys for watching.
Jorge.
True.
Yeah,
Shout out George.
they're supportive, man. And we're talking about the brands. Shout out to Brave Kimonos as well.
Absolutely.
To sponsor the podcast and all the PBJF tournaments. If you guys go to any PBJJF tournaments, you're gonna find a Brave store.
Yeah,
Where
they
they
have the
follow.
booth set up.
So if you wanna look great, look sharp,
If you failed key inspection because you didn't bring a proper fitting one,
yeah, you should. You should
you pick one up.
That's
Yeah,
right.
but like, hey, the rules is there, guys. Check the rules on the
Check
on the
the rules
website.
before
Then
you
I mean,
go. Like
even
ask your
for, like,
professor,
ask
your
a
coach,
professor.
you know, everybody. Make
he's only on a blue, white, and black
Black,
color.
yes,
Don't
sir.
come with like pink or purple, gray, or whatever.
Same color pants on top.
Yeah, same
color,
colors,
top.
top and bottom.
How do you mess up your laundry where you got a white top and blue pants? How did you do that?
Oh,
Come on, come on.
And we have the PNMs coming up in June 24th and Worlds October 21st. So those are gonna be big shows
events,
for
big
big
events.
events.
and New Jersey's coming June
New
too.
Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey.
This month we have Washington D.C. Open and Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh is cool. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but it's a cool spot.
Pittsburgh is
It's
Yeah.
not too far for you guys too, yeah.
It's like 8 hours.
8
hours.
hours.
Yeah, it's a drive.
8 hours.
Yeah, it's up there.
Crazy. It's
up
3
there.
hours from us
Yeah,
here,
3
right?
hours for us.
Really?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. It took me a long time.
Yeah,
the
that's
last
I'm
time
like
I went.
something.
I
Maybe
gotta
you stopped
figure this
more.
out.
Yeah.
I don't
But
think
for
I-
us, it's like three and a half. Three.
maximum 2.5, yeah.
I don't know how. Maybe because I'm further east.
Yeah, maybe if you go
Yeah.
like.
Because I'm
I
like
see
right
from-
on the coast. I'm like
Yeah, it
right at the
goes like
beach.
this way,
So yeah.
that might
Close
be
to
it.
Atlantis.
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City.
Atlantic
that
City
way.
is
Yeah.
30 minutes from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
yeah.
norther.
Central. People in New Jersey are going to argue about that. There's North Jersey, there's South Jersey, but there's a whole section in the middle that everybody tends to overlook. It's Central New Jersey.
There's a big Brazilian community in Long Branch.
Yes, there
Long
is.
Branch,
Yeah, there's a couple. I want to say maybe Newark has a
Newark.
big one too. Yeah.
New where?
Newark.
New-
It-
Newark.
it's a-
That's
yeah,
why
yeah.
Newark by
There's a big
New
one
York.
there. Yeah.
Newark. I've been there.
So there's a
There's a
couple.
You
Brazilian
guys
restaurant
live in
there.
New York, a little bit expensive. They get to New York and work in New York.
Oh, for
yeah.
sure. We like I
A
said,
lot of people do that, right? They live around New York to like
huge. My parents moved us out of Brooklyn when I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and my dad was still working in Manhattan, so he just used to take a bus and commute.
Or get a
or
train. Or
train.
that's-
Sorry. Yeah, that's huge. A lot of people want to live in the suburbs but keep their jobs in the city. And I don't blame them. It's overcrowded. I like cities to visit. I can't ever live in one. I need a backyard. I need grass and trees.
I like to go to New York to visit, but
I couldn't live there.
I can't.
Yeah.
Me neither. It's hard. Too much.
It's a lot.
It's too much.
Too many people.
for everything. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
It's too much. Why everything? Everything's too much in New York.
New York is a lot. I don't think it's my.
But like to visit is nice, man. Get that
Yeah.
like a weekend, you know.
Oh,
It's-
there's so much to do,
things
so much
to
to
do,
do.
and just like very
you
nice.
can see like for us, like we see a lot in the movies, you know, like New York. I think coming from Brazil,
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
you gotta,
You
Los
gotta stop.
Angeles.
I feel that way about LA too. Well, California in general. It has a slower pace, I would say, than New York. But it's a place I could visit. I could never live there. I could never live there. I know a lot of people that are out there, and I'm just like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I live in the middle of the woods.
I
It's
I
nice.
love I get to him Adelaide because I like it here a lot. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but I like crazy.
You just find a place and it
Yeah,
feels like home,
same, I
right?
feel.
Like it just feels right.
I get here the first time. I'm like, fuck,
This is a
so
spot.
that's a spot.
That's
Deal.
good.
I'm like, deal. I'm coming down here.
There's a spot for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And it's important to know what's not for you and what is. So,
But like some friends of mine come here, it's like, fuck, man, it's hard to live
No
here.
way,
Blah,
yeah.
blah, blah. Just met, sometimes connect.
no, I agree. I
Yeah.
live in, like, literally, I live on a street where there are 7 houses and a dead end. And, like, that's it. I live in the middle of nowhere and it's quiet and it's great. It's great. My neighbors are not loud. I'm not loud. And that's all
Perfect
I
fit. I like it like this, but not too far away for everything. Makes sense?
Yeah.
It's like, man, if I get my car, like 5 minutes, I can get in a gross.
Well, I think that's the
5
thing.
minutes, I get in a gas station. That's perfect for
need. New
me.
Jersey, almost everything. If you live in one of those areas that has it, like almost everything is like 30 minutes away. Like you could drive anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes and everything is there. You know, where I grew up, we had all the restaurants, we had a mall, we had Great Adventure, so like an amusement park that was a tourist attraction. The beach was 20 minutes away. We just lived in an area where like everything was there. So things like driving an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, they're not such a big deal. I understand if you're in a city, you can walk 2 blocks and something is there, but it's close enough. And for me, that's cool.
I feel the same too. Too crowded, not my thing.
Yeah.
And so
The farmers too, some my things too. Do you know what I mean? Should be on the
between the middle.
that.
So we have this part of the podcast there. We ask if we could bring anybody in this podcast that you would like to listen.
Today, 100%.
Terere.
Yeah, that's my favorite dude ever. He's my favorite card
Terere.
passer of all time. His story is crazy, right?
Crazy.
Like
You watch his movie,
I did not yet. It's on my list. It's on my list, but
You
I want to
should.
sit down and watch it.
Kind of sad.
little sad, yeah, but
It is, but I think that's the part that also makes his return like the triumphant part, right? Like
Yeah.
you need those obstacles and you need those hard times to become the man that today is.
But I don't
So,
think the movie they could really make that feeling.
yeah,
Right?
I
The end
feel the
was-
movie should get a little bit more deep on the history. You know what I mean?
okay.
But
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Like
yeah,
I said,
let us stop and don't
Yeah.
no,
do
no, you're
that.
okay. I
I think
didn't
they
want to
should have
watch it
more-
until I could like really sit and focus on it. So
So I think they should have more original footage,
okay.
right? Like kind of like almost
Well, that gets hard sometimes, right? Like, are they making a movie or are they making like a documentary?
Documentary, yeah.
Right. So that's where that happens.
But it like I think bringing that, yeah, it could bring him more like the closest. To
yeah,
the,
dude,
you know,
I still watch his match with Marcelo and like get as excited as the
Yes.
first time I
And
saw
you
him.
know the
Like,
result. That's
I
crazy.
know what's gonna happen. Like he's gonna pass right now,
Yeah.
and I just lose my mind.
Yeah.
I remember like around the time his father come with the selling the shirts, like come back, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, that
man, I
guy.
remember
He
those
was really
days.
special and quite frankly responsible for a lot of what is happening now in jiu-jitsu, right?
True.
But I mean that makes sense. Like a lot of people haven't gone backwards to see it. If you look at like Tynan is a great example because Gimenis is the one who like kind of not pioneered, but like molded the passing system that he uses. But he's a black belt under Ramon Lemos, and Ramon Lemos is a black belt under Day. So like there's a straight line,
back,
and if you look, he
André Galvão.
yeah,
Galvão.
100%. You can see like where it started. You just have to look back a little bit, and people lose it. But find a day match that's boring. You won't. The dude was just a machine, and if you look at what he was doing as long ago as it was compared to what's happening now, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that all makes sense. I see how like this became that. And, I mean, the long step pass alone. That's him.
I train with Gigi Paiva, which is
Oh, okay.
professor.
Yeah.
Gigi's incredible. Max came at his
To the
seminar,
seminar.
too.
Oh, you.
Gigi's,
Great ex guard.
I trained with Terere after
Gigi is like he
legendary.
legend by the ex guard too. No
Yeah,
man.
you
He
find
taught
those
Marcelo
guys.
Garcia.
Marcelo
that.
Garcia.
Marcelo's ex-guard, yeah.
Gigi taught that. Gigi is a pioneer of X guard.
I believe
Single
that.
leg X.
That's like home base for little guys too, because it displaces so much of the weight for us, right? Like being underneath somebody is massive for us. So yeah.
It's Terere is definitely. Unfortunately, I think we have to go to Brazil to
I'm sure.
interview him.
I'm
you
sure.
know,
Yeah.
but
That would be like my dream guy. That
I
would-
saw. I think Caio Terra did something with him.
He
right?
did, yeah. A couple of people have throughout the years. A couple of people have. If anybody remembers Budo videos before Flow, right? Like right when he started his comeback, they did like the favela passing system and stuff like that with him. So like every couple of years, someone finds him, like, who is this guy? And everyone that's been around for a while is like, oh man, you're missing out.
Yeah,
I have a great experience. Thanks 2014 or 15. I think it's 15. I'm a brown belt and I sponsored by Coral on that time.
Okay.
And we did a photo shoot on Arpoador. That's a beach in Brazil, you know. And after, but who's on the photo shoot too? Alain Fifo. He's like the guy who gave back the belt, you know.
He's
and
in
another
Europe
kid,
now, right?
yeah, he's in Europe. And another kid from Cantagalo. And when the photo shoot is done, they're like, hey, let's go train. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm here now. We eat, boom. We get on a social project, and Terere was that teaching.
Oh,
you know, on the same day, like a train Terere, train with Alain Finfo. That's like great experience.
I don't know if I could even do jujitsu at that point. I would just be sitting there like, whoa.
Yeah, I train. I want to touch that, and then I'm here like I don't want to ask you to train, but on the same time I'm like,
I got
please come me, please come me, please. I just be around like that. But like I'm close to Finfo, you know. We did a couple rounds, and I trained a couple students, and he's like, hey, let's go, big guy, let's train, blah blah blah.
Awesome.
And we train a little bit. It's like great experience that day.
That's huge. Yeah. I don't fanboy often, but that would be a guy that I would just be like, oh man.
I got it. If you look back on my Instagram, I have a photo on that me, Terere, and Finfo.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's like the stuff dreams are made out of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think that's a cool thing about jujitsu too, though, is like people are accessible, right? Accessible. Like I can't call Messi and be like, you want to pass the ball around?
yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Can you show me your best stuff on the seminar?
Yeah. But like I've driven 20 minutes to a Hobson Morris seminar. You know what I mean? Or a Saulo seminar. Or had my ISA at my school, and like
you can bring it then for
no
your
other
school,
sport
please.
can you do that. You know what I mean? And that's something that's really cool about jiu-jitsu.
And the crazy things too, like for sure, if you go play with the mass or whatever, he's not gonna like, hey man, that's the way I do. On that day, they pass my guard. I'm like, man, that's a nice thing. But when he's like, I did like this, I don't ask. He just starts
he'll just show you. He'll just
and
show
I'm like,
you. Yeah.
excited just to be there. Then it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, there the jiu-jitsu stars are still touchable.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
contact.
But that also opens up another door where people are like complaining about the price of an instructional or even a seminar where like you're going to go and sit and spend 2 to 3 hours with the individual. You call up Tom Brady and ask him to teach you how to throw a pass for 3 hours and let me know what he charges you.
That's
right? Like is
exactly.
$250 is too much to reach your goal of learning this technique or becoming a world champion. You're out of your mind. Get out of here.
You spend like $10 on a coffee.
Yeah, but I can't go learn from the best in the world for 3 hours,
That's right.
right? Like how
You gotta look at your priorities.
priorities,
Priorities,
right?
yeah.
100%.
That's the way. But man, Chris, thank you so much, man, for coming
Absolutely.
today.
Thank you for having me.
Really good talking to you.
Good to know a little bit more about you.
More
man.
about you know,
Yeah, about your
and
training.
like we say, you know, like this is the first hopefully of many, you know,
You let me know when.
and we have we're gonna do one per season, so that means you gotta come back and
mugs.
get another
No,
one.
absolutely.
We're
I
gonna
drink
have a
enough coffee that-
collection of mugs.
That
PBJJF
means you should
mugs.
come back and forget the next one.
Well, I'm gonna have a collection and
Yeah.
then I'm gonna tell people and be like, "Yo,
Yeah.
you guys are falling off."
And you know that's just for the visitors. Nobody can have that
Nobody
one. It's
can have
impossible to
this.
buy, impossible to get it. Like that just
get it.
who sit on that chair can get that one.
Hopefully soon, Joe Rogan will have one as well, right?
Hey, yay!
Hey, get him.
Or he comes here, or
I was gonna say who runs the podcast though, because he's got his, you got
That's
yours.
right. Or he brings us to his. Guys, reach out to Joe Rogan, man. Bring him
Reach
back
out
some
the guy.
GP.
Reach out the
Those
man.
guys are doing some crazy stuff.
They talk about you all the time.
in the East Coast. You should bring those guys to see what they're doing out there.
I think so, especially if he's promoting jiu-jitsu, right? It would be hard not to promote people trying to grow the sport. You know what I mean? So if you really love it, like you say you do, bring in the right
Yeah,
people.
Sure. And also we talk about seminars. Couple guys hit you we out to like me and JP run a seminar on a school. If you guys interested in have us like a guest seminar on your school, send an email for professionaljujitsu.com at gmail.com. Yes,
Professionaljiu at gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
We don't have the times available
Much
yet,
time, yeah.
It's okay.
but
You'll get 'em.
people reach out and
We try to figure it out.
we're figuring out the dates that we can do. And maybe we could, let's talk to Max. If we go, we could do like
Vlog.
a video as well,
Video as
where
well,
you know
yeah.
we show the
Absolutely,
techniques and the
absolutely.
seminar and like promote the school as
That's,
well.
that's the move now too
Yeah.
for social media, right? Like you have a seminar and then you film it and then you monetize that and you sell it to the people that could not attend the seminar but still want to learn the technique.
Yeah.
And then everybody's happy and everybody's growing.
And even the people around the schools, you know, like around the area, everybody would be welcome to come to our seminars if the schools allowed, you know, of course.
I don't know why
So
they
they
wouldn't. I don't like that. I don't like when people don't let people cross train and like all that. They're paying customers, man. Let them do whatever they want. You know, if you buy a pair of Adidas shoes and you don't like them, and then you buy a pair of Nikes, Adidas isn't gonna talk trash about you on the internet for 3 months. They're not gonna call other shoe stores and tell them not to sell you sneakers, right? They're just gonna be like, all right, we'll keep it moving. I don't know why jiu-jitsu does that. There's like a
I feel some schools they do like only members sometimes by the space. The way,
100%. Like if you know you're bringing,
don't
in
understand
somebody-
we're wrong. Like sometimes the
Yeah.
space is small,
Yeah.
whatever.
No,
you need
you're
to,
correct.
Like, yeah.
You're correct. But then you can just book like multiple sessions. You know what I mean? If the athlete is down to do that,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I've had people that are like, if your space holds, I don't know, let's say it's 120 people, and then that's too many, then you do two. If the athlete is willing, of course you got to pay them for their time. But if from a business side, if it makes sense to do a second, why wouldn't
Do it,
you?
yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You
And
know what I
probably the guest,
Yeah.
the professor, the fighter will be into doing too.
100%.
He gonna make more money too. No, why
He'll make
not?
more money. He'll meet new people. That's
Yeah.
new people to support you. You know what I mean? Like, what from a business standpoint, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. If you guys are watching, thank you for watching today. If you want to book a seminar with JP and Max, reach out to professionaljujitsu at gmail.com. We're going to check the dates available we have for the...
Book them.
but
Book them.
we should come by sometime to train with your guys. And
Anytime.
And if you guys
Do
in
that.
New Jersey,
if you
close
guys need
to-
yours, how can they
Pop by.
find you?
The Hive JJ on Instagram is the best way. We don't have a phone number because it's just people trying to sell us solar panels. It's just spam. So email and social media is the only way at the Hive JJ. Open door policy. Come in, listen to some rad music, do jujitsu.
nice.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Thank you guys for watching today. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely.
Good.